Hi, everybody. I'm Tasha from the Major Change Group, and I was recently on Instagram and I saw this clip of Dave Ramsey and Mark Cuban talking about if you use credit cards, basically you want to be poor. And so I was like, wow, I thought this was so interesting. And I saw it on the Credit Dudes Instagram page. And so I want to show it to you and let me know in the comments. Do you feel like if you use credit cards that you want to be poor? Let me know. And then we're going to talk about it. Now, I don't really disagree 1000%, but I do think there's another level. Now, Mark Cuban is really saying that credit cards have high interest rates, and he was saying between 15 and 20%. But it's like nowadays, credit cards have like 26 and 28%. I recently got the Citi Platinum American Airlines credit card, and I believe my interest rate is like 28%. So he's stating if you pay off your credit cards and then burn them, because if you are not paying interest, then you're gaining that interest. But on the one hand, technically, if you're wasting that money, then you really can't gain interest on money that you're not investing and things like that. And then Dave is stating that when they had talked to the 400 wealthiest people, they were stating to pay off debt and stay out of debt. So that's most important, stay out of debt. But it's just like on the one hand, when they interviewed those 400 people, did they say that they didn't have credit cards? And I will say, I don't necessarily agree that if you don't want to be rich, that you can't have credit cards, because I'll say, for instance, let's say Tanisha on the Fun and Budget Act, her channel, y'all have to check her out. Like, she has talked about how she has done her net worth and she's over $1 million and she uses credit cards. And so just because you use credit cards, it doesn't mean that you're gaining debt. Like for myself, I use credit cards. I would say I use credit cards pretty much 90% of the time. And I really would use it more if I could pay my mortgage with my credit card without having a fee. That's the main thing. And so I pay my credit cards off every month. And so I know sometimes people say, well, you have to pay interest on credit to be able to increase your credit score. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like you can use credit cards to build credit without paying interest. So you definitely have to check out this video where I'm talking about how to use a credit card utilization hack and not pay interest on your credit cards. And so that's what I do. I just pay my credit cards off every month, and I don't pay interest on it. So I probably haven't paid interest on credit cards maybe like 5 or 6, maybe 7 years. But look, I can tell you, I have paid my fair share of interest. But I really do think that if you can gain the discipline, and that's where I agree with Dave, with his baby steps, and even what Mark Cuban is stating is that when you have credit card debt, then you want to pay it off and burn the cards. Because even for myself, when I did the Dave Ramsey, I had cut my credit cards. I didn't use the credit cards. So there was a period of time I didn't use credit cards. But after a certain period of time, I do feel like I gained the discipline to be able to use my credit cards and not I'm not paying any interest on the credit cards. So I do think that there's a way. And I know Dave will say, because I do like to use a credit card so I can get the points. But it's like, on the one hand, I really don't have to use credit cards. But I do like using credit cards, but I don't have to. So I think if you get to a point to where you have the mindset and you have the discipline, I think it's really about the discipline to not pay interest on credit cards. That's the main thing. And so, really the only way that you can do that, I think, is by doing a budget, making sure that you know how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, how much do you have left over, and only spending what you have. So you'll definitely have to let me know, what do you think about this? Do you think that credit cards can make you poor? I don't necessarily think the credit cards can make you poor, and I just opened up 2 credit cards because I had opened up 2 credit cards in one day. but I don't pay interest on credit cards. I haven't paid interest on credit cards in a very, very long time. And I think the most important piece of, overall having a healthy financial journey, I think is being organized with your finances. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that I think you can do a budget. I think that that's great because for me, I like to write my stuff down and then, check in and see how, making sure that I'm only spending what I have. But I do think that there is a way to be able to use credit cards. In my last video, I was talking about how you can use credit card, a 0% interest credit card, to be able to pay off debt. And I think that's a good way to be able to do it, but you have to have a plan. So overall, I think having organization in your finances, that's going to be able to help you. And then also having the discipline not to overspend, that's really how you can gain the traction to be, if you want to build wealth and things like that of what they're saying. But, on a base level, I think having a budget, creating a emergency fund or a rainy day fund, just like Dave states, and then putting that money, let's say in a high yield savings, or creating you a Roth IRA, or, investing in the stock market, doing real estate or things like that, but you have to start with organize your finances. And so I think that's where, creating a budget or writing it down would be good. But you'll have to check in the description to see my digital budget planner that I have on my Etsy shop if you're interested. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you think that having credit cards will make you poor? And how do you overall feel about credit cards? Do you pay interest on credit cards? Let me know. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when new content comes out. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time. It's not a game. It's a